Um, Changing gears a little bit, our guest just asked to re-email the link
Sure.
because something went wrong on his end.
Okay. Wherever my stuff is right now, presently. Our guest, huge history with you.
Yeah.
For me, it's just kind of funny because I remember being a young whippersnapper and trying to penetrate the wrestling world, and this guy was the first person to bring me and John to shows. So a lot of history for us as well. We just had him on a couple weeks ago to talk about AEW, their debut. But I always love getting PJ on because for me, it just takes me back to being 22, 23 and quietly sitting in a car with him being like, I don't want to say anything stupid.
Hilarious, right? Yeah.
So, very cool to have him coming on with us.
Yeah, I'm excited about this interview. This should be a good one. Yeah, so this next guest is a person I worked very closely with in the ECW. He's also known for his time in WWF as Aldo Montoya, but I think he shined more with us. Good friend of mine, everybody. Please welcome PJ Puraco, a.k.a. Justin Credible.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Tired, running around like crazy, and finally,
look at you.
What? Clean.
We got another clean-shaven guy. What are you and Russo? You guys like patting together to shave at the same time?
I have a show November 9th, right? So I had to clean this up because sometimes, I'm getting grays. So, this way it'll be grown in, and I'll be looking like a normal person soon.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to see you.
Happy to see you.
Yes. We just had, we were just talking to Vince Russo. So do you want to just start with what you're doing with Vince now?
Yeah, we do an AEW review show. Usually every Friday we start off at like 10 a.m. And it's all through Patreon. And we do like 10 minutes, first 10 minutes free on Twitch. So it's been a really cool experience. Like I really dig working with him. He's really easy. I met Vince back in '94 when he was actually writing for the old WWF magazine. So we go back a long way, but I really didn't get to know him creatively. We'd never worked together. So he's a super cool dude, and I really enjoy doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit. I worked with him one time in TNA, and he was my agent 2002, and that was the only time I ever got to meet him in person. So he's such a sweetheart. But
he is. It's a shame, he gets such a bad rap.
We were discussing that as well.
Because just recently we talked about it on the show today a little bit. Because his fans, the people that subscribe to his Patreon, I think he has like we just broke 500, which is, I guess, good for what he's doing. And but a fan said something to Cody that Vince was critiquing and criticizing some things on the show, and I guess Cody went on like this tirade about Vince Russo, and I didn't see it. I do no negativity. I don't read comments, not to be mean. I just because that'll kill me. I get obsessed over that stuff. It upsets me because a lot of the stuff is false. Like it's amazing that here's one story, and I'll get back on topic. I was doing a show WrestleMania weekend. One of Janela's guys, Black Label Pro Wrestling, and it was like this crazy battle reel at the end. Small building, like 50 wrestlers backstage. I was dressing outside. And as a matter of fact, that day I was with my sober buddy.
Small building,
so I
but
was
we filled it.
Drinking.
We packed it.
Okay, that's to start.
Yeah, if I've noticed
but
too, though.
in the thing, my whole gimmick was a surprise.
I saw you hopped over the ref.
Everybody. And there was no direction. Nobody was talking to anybody.
Maybe
so there was no
on
communication. So there's this guy, Frank the Clown. It was a stage entrance.
Well, he only had to tape one
wrist
into
the ring
because the other one obviously is.
My music hits. He's sitting there on the stage doing his shtick.
Seemingly forever.
You're burying me right there. What am I going to do? Walk
so many
past
things
you
we've
all
seen.
Kindly?
He's wearing.
So I turn around. I cane him lightly.
So who's the heel here?
Might I add? And then nobody in the ring was selling for So what I did was I yelled, "Get out of the way!" and I did a Terry Funk. I threw a chair in the ring, and I unfortunately hit somebody. And I guess you got hurt, you got cut open, whatever. It was me, Francine, unintentional. But then those punks get to go online and say, "Oh, he was this, he was that," and it's real easy to say when that happens. And another instance happened to me recently where this promoter, a kid that I was actually doing a podcast with that I trusted, flew me out to Cleveland for a show. Show drew 25 people.
You told me about this one.
Yeah,
this one
show drew 25 people, and drove me to the hotel like nothing was wrong. Had the balls to come pick me up at 6 a.m. I was ready for everything. But he said, oh, the flight's delayed because of something or other. I'm like, well, the winds are perfect here. There's nothing wrong in Connecticut. So my wife's good at this stuff. You know, I'm like, Jill, call the airline, see what's going on, please. She calls the airline. There was never a flight even booked for my return. And not only did I not get paid a dime for this show, I made like $100 in pictures if I was lucky. I did not get paid. I didn't even have a flight home. So then I have to have a buddy of mine, Western Union, me $100.
Oh my gosh! Did you have to rent
a
car?
No, I told those motherfuckers. You know, could we swear?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I told those motherfuckers, you're driving me home. And then when I X'd him out of the podcast, I didn't go public. I don't like to air out public shit. I don't like to bury promoters that don't pay, even though you saw what happened to me the other day.
I did.
It happens way too
horrible.
often. But I don't go public. You know what I mean? Whatever. And then the kids that are driving me home, because I wasn't returning his calls or whatever, because I gave him like a week to make good on the money. I'm like, please. And he was like, oh, tomorrow. And then the next day is tomorrow. So anyways, so he went on a rant saying, oh, he was drunk the whole way home. A, what does it matter if I am or not? And B, you just screwed me royally.
Right.
But I didn't defend myself because I think it's, you know, what's the point? What's the point of that? You know what I'm saying? It's what it is, you know, and for everything good that's happening, it always seems like something bad, because I've tried to get out of the business for a very long time, and you know, it's hard when it's all you know, A, and B, there's some surprisingly, besides the Vince Russo thing, there's some other real positive things happening, so that I can't say, but you know, it's you always have that hope. You know, I'm 46 years old. I'm not getting any younger, and I know I can't do this much longer. You know, so and quite frankly, I don't want to do this in the ring much longer, except for indies because they're fun. But I was looking. Well, put it this way: I was wanting to get into a backstage position somewhere, and I got offered to do an in-ring angle, which I'm not too excited about. Well, no. Rephrase. I'm excited, but you know, I don't.
It's
I don't
okay.
Know. You know,
it's okay.
I don't know.
We're not saying which show is which. And,
no, not at all. It's just, you know, your confidence level sometimes dips, and you know, you don't know if you could do it anymore. I don't want to be a parody of myself. I mean, but whatever. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. I feel the same way at this point. You know, but if they book you, you will come. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
So, you know, I asked you the other night if you were open to talk about anything.
Yeah, anything.
And you said you would.
Yeah.
So, you know, I never want to put anybody in an uncomfortable position, but
not at all.
You've been up and down and been on Twitter, very vocal about it. What led to the occurrences? We're backtracking now, but just I want to hear your side of it, because I know what I heard and I know what I've seen. Yeah. And I never really got to hear you.
Well, I mean, as far as my addiction and alcoholism stuff,
that and the jail time.
Oh, that, yeah. I mean, I got off of opioids. I started using opioids, like pain pills, like a lot of us were, around the ECW days, and that carried over to WWE, and other stuff. And you know, I was a full blown addict, and I went to rehab in 2011, paid for by WWE, and I got put on this wonderful medication called Suboxone, which not only cuts cravings, but also if you go take a pill or whatever, you know, take an opioid, it will not work. You will actually does the adverse effect. You go into withdrawal. So that medication saved my life. I haven't taken an opioid since 2011. But then I was feeling really good. I got on the DDPY stuff. Things were going really well. And, something in me said, well, it's not that bad if I have a drink once in a while, right? I'm not, I don't feel dirty having a beer or a glass of wine. And my personality, as they tell you, in AA and all that stuff, it took me years, but I started to really snowball with it. And that led to me just being a full-blown drunk, drinking day and night. I didn't even want it anymore. But if you didn't, you'd go into the horrible DTs. And that just at the point in time, I was living with my father and mother and another younger bro. We had a big home, but, he was an alcoholic. His girlfriend was living there as an alcoholic. My wife was living there. And it was just a formula for disaster. So there were just the first incident was with my father, where I was drunk and we were fighting over money probably. And I specifically said to him, which first of all, I love my dad. I've never laid a hand on I've never been in a real fight. I'd never touch anybody, but I said to him, "Oh, I'll kill you." Well, he called the cops. And that's a threat. So then I had a protective order and I had to leave the house. So where am I going to go? So I get arrested that time. And then every time there was an argument or a drunken fueled debauchery, they'd come and I'm not supposed to be on the property.
Gotcha. Okay. And
I spent 45 days in jail because the bond was so high the last time. But, I'm doing programs now, stuff you have to do, court ordered. But, it'll be, it's all good now. That's behind me.
Yes, so, absolutely. Yeah. And how many days sober now?
Oh God, December 14th.
Awesome.
Yeah, of last year. Yeah. When I went to jail.
Well, yeah.
That'll do it to you, right?
That will do it to you, brother.
I'm super proud of you. Like I said, it happens. Things happen. Yeah. Things happen for a reason.
They do.
You're gonna this was just a way God's telling you you're going to come back stronger.
I believe so. I hope so. I mean, I'm lucky to be alive. Quite frankly, I was, and not even most recently, I'm just lucky to be alive from the other days. I was taking so many pills and so many things in the 2000s, the early 2000s to the late 2000s. I'm surprised that I'm here. And that's the whole thing. I don't touch pills. I don't do anything.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because when we were in ECW together, you weren't bad.
I wasn't, but I was. I didn't do anything. I'll never forget, and I don't want to mention his name, but I was given my first OxyContin.
Okay, great.
And I fell in love, and that's a major epidemic, nowadays too. And then doctors too at the time were handing you, because we're on TV and we're all they were handing you whatever you wanted. So it was, and really what had happened was when Chris Benoit incident happened, what had happened was then all the doctors cut us off. And that's when a lot of people secretively in the business, they probably won't tell you, but you're probably getting them off the street, and they were like $80 a pill at the time.
Oh my gosh.
So one day somebody said to me, "Hey, you ever try heroin?" I'm like, "No." Well, it's like the same as, it's an opioid. That's what it is. It's an opiate. And they said, well, it's a million times cheaper. You can get like 10 bags for $50. So I'm like, okay. I was super sick. And that went down that road for a little bit,
Oh, so that's you're shooting it.
Snorting it at first.
Oh, snorting. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was, this is documented.
Oh, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, I've talked about this before, but I guess it's not, I don't mind talking about any of this because it's part of where I am today. It's just part of recovery, but it's also part of who I am. And I feel if I talk about it, you can't talk shit about it. If I'm being honest with you, I have nothing to hide.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you, because I've heard so many people say so many different things. And I'm just like, if I want to know the story, I'm going to ask PJ.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to some schmo just tell me what he's doing when I know you and I don't know them from Adam. You know what I mean?
But that's the funny thing is, from maybe one or two isolated instances, I don't talk to many people at shows that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm real quiet now. I was always kind of like quiet, but so it's not like I interact with a ton of people anyway. So I don't know where these people would get these ideas or whatever. Again, it's the stigma that follows you. It's what it is, and it's unfortunately the way it's going to be. Like I said, I was drunk and hit people with chairs and just out of control, and what they say, whatever they want. That's why I can't read it anymore, because I'm not I mean, not to lighten my situation, but the way I act professionally, I'm still booked every weekend, so obviously I'm not doing horrible things to promoters.
You don't tell them right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I hear you.
It is what it is.
Let's switch gears. I'm getting depressed. Let's be happy. I want to switch gears. Tell me your best time in your career. What would you classify as your best time? I know you're a big click guy and you love to click.
Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore.
All right.
I mean, not that I don't. I have friendships with really only two of them now.
Okay.
But my best time in my career was obviously ECW, specifically 2000. Yeah, when we had that title run, and even afterwards, when things were going bad, I've heard Paul say this on Steve Austin's podcast. Financially, if you remember back in the day, even the last two pay-per-views we had at Hammerstein, we were still selling out, and we were still putting on quality matches, quality shows, quality stuff. It gets very much glorified that 95 and 90, these years that are in people's minds that were so, popular. But to me, 2000 was my best year. I got to live my dream and be, headline pay-per-views and work with you and work with Tommy and Jerry and so many great people. So, and Steve Carino as well. So
I remember the night that you and I got together at the arena.
Yep.
And I remember like it was yesterday. I remember poor Jason because, my God, seriously, like we do the deal. And like PJ's in there, and we didn't work out anything at the end. We were just like playing off the top of our head. And remember my boob was hanging out, and when I did the Hogan, so I have the shirt on, and I have to rip it open, and of course my boob's hanging out, and I see Paul going like this on the stage, and I went and I cover it. And I walk over to you, and you just grab me by the waist. And here's Jason on the outside, like, yeah. And nobody's paying attention to Jason.
No.
And he comes up to me later, and he's like, "Did you know this?" And I said, "No, what?" And he goes, "You guys are phasing me out. Did you know?" And I'm like, "I didn't know. I don't know anything
about it either. But I was never told anything either."
I felt so freaking bad. I was like, "Dude, I would never ever try to push you out of any equation. Like, this is like your deal. Like, this is where Paul told me I was going."
Yeah, I was never officially told anything about Jason. I was just told. I just sat there and I did what I was told, man. And
me too.
And I never got in on the politics, even though Paul sometimes would have me come over. Like one time, and I didn't like it when I was working with Shane. We had that one great match at the ECW arena, and I think you were with Shane at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was going over, or no, Shane was going over, but it was supposed to be like this, whatever. He had me go over to his room at the, wherever we were staying in Philly. I think he was at the Marriott, and he called Shane and staying in the same hotel and put him on speakerphone for me to listen, but did not tell Shane I was in the room. Ooh. And now I've become really close with Shane now. I mean, we were close then, but like I'm really I really consider him a friend today. And even then I found it disrespectful because as he's putting Shane over, saying, "You've got to make this kid tomorrow night's going to be the night," he was doing the franchise shit to him, like mocking him while he's talking to him. And I'm sitting here, and I think my wife was with me too. Excuse me. And I just found that, like, if he's doing that to Shane, what's he doing to me? What's he doing to other people? So, yeah,
Wow. Okay. Well,
that's what it is. But I don't
Yeah.
like. That's something that I really truly don't like, and it really bothers me.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That's just
not cool.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was going to say everybody keeps talking about like my pairing with Shane, but I feel like you and I clicked right away as well.
I thought so. Yeah.
We had a really, really good partnership. And I remember the last pay-per-view, we were forming the new Impact players with Carino and Jack Victory.
That's right. I don't remember those storylines towards the end.
We cut a promo, and it was like the four of us.
Okay.
And we were just cutting this promo. And when we were done the promo, we all kind of looked at each other. We were like, it's never going to happen.
No,
like, we knew, like, this is, why are we even here? Like, it's not going to happen. But it was, to me, that would have been such a cool thing to do because, like, Carino was such a heel. You were such a heel. Yeah. And like Jack in that wheelchair was gold.
Yeah, that would have been
so fun to be, a team like that. But I mean, I loved working with you. I'll be honest. Like,
I did too. I did too. It was effortless. That's the thing is, people sometimes mistake what ECW was, and there were times where things were, physically rough, but it wasn't what people think. And I'll guarantee you this. They're hitting way harder in WWE and in NXT than we ever did in ECW. I'm serious. I mean, these kids, they don't work anymore. I see bloody lips. I see bloody noses. These kids are just, I don't know, man. It is what it is, but
I think accidents happen, but we say it all the time. Like, we literally tried to protect each other.
We always did. We always did.
There was never intentional.
No, and we entertained at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
We knew how to. We kind of it all figured out. All right, this is where we get and Dreamer was real good at teaching this to me. This is where we'll do this. We'll get this pop here, and then we'll get this other pop here. So we always knew kind of where to layer our stuff. And if there was something wrong with me, if I wasn't feeling well, he'd figure a way around it. You'd help me figure a way around it. We'd just work it all out, and. I think nowadays in wrestling, you don't really. I don't think Vince Russo and I talked about this today. I don't think the guys, a lot of the younger guys in the locker room, have the respect that we had for the veterans, and I certainly see that, like, where you guys don't know anything. The game is changing, and we're just going to do our own thing, and that may be true. I know the game is changing, but. Everything that's old becomes new, and everything that's new becomes old. So I'm already we're week 5 into our AEW review, and towards the end of my note writing at night, I was already like, it's like same shit every night. You see, I literally do a gimmick now where I count how many dives they do, and how many apron bumps. It all looks like the same match, and how many super kicks there are in a show, and how many times somebody slaps their leg. It's all the same match. One thing that's disappointing, and I won't get into it. I'm still in that mode. Is the women's division really kind of is not good over there? And I thought
really,
it would be.
I haven't seen any of it, so no. I don't watch wrestling anymore. I watched the first week of AEW. I watched the first hour.
Yeah.
And I saw a little bit of the girls' match that night, but I never saw the finish because I think my kids were coming home from school and I had to go get them or something. But just didn't turn it back on. Like,
I can't watch WWE. It's just too long. It's just the same stuff. But one thing I do tell the thing I can say about both products are good. Two totally different styles,
Yeah.
Totally different styles. Okay.
So
Right. Well, I get a lot of people, and you probably get the same thing I do with the network out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
We have such a new generation of fans that are
yeah,
watching our stuff for the first time.
yes,
And it's 20, 25 years old, and they're saying how it holds up in the year 2019 and how creative it is.
yeah.
And then you go and tell me it's the same stuff every single week. We never did that. There was so much variety on our show, and
It,
I
yeah,
kept it fresh.
it kept it fresh. And one thing Paul was really good at was, and a lot of the best directors are just like that. He made the most of what he had. He would find a spot outside of a building to do a promo.
Right.
He did those Pulp Fiction vignettes. Like, that's stuff that's still not being done today. It's not being utilized. Like, one of the biggest criticisms I have of AEW is unless you followed the Elite, those guys from before, you're a new fan tuning in, you really don't you don't know who these guys are. So they're having a hard time where Paul would everybody would have their little shtick and promos, and not just long-winded in-ring promos where, WWE does I talk, you talk, and just fun stuff. And I think it holds up today. I'm amazed that nobody's really tried to, people have tried, but to try to take some of those elements and freshen them up to today. Because what we also did was, and we couldn't get away with it today because of copyrights, but man, that music,
I know,
with the wrestling, and it was it made it cool. And the buildings were on fire. It was so entertaining. Just that whole thing was just, it was just different. And if you have the money, like an AEW or the WWE, hell, if me and X-Pac got Uncle Cracker to give us a song, and they were paying for it every time we came out. They paid for it.
yeah.
So it's why not do a little more of that? I think music and wrestling for a long time has gone together, and it could really make your show a little hipper.
I would sit in the studio and be amazed by Paul, because he would use all the cool hip artists of 1996, and we'd be like, how are you getting away with it? Don't worry about it. Don't just relax. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, this is really cool, but God, if you ever get caught, how are we not caught on television?
You know how we got away with it on pay-per-view was if it's on in the background, if it's not plugged into the feed, like the direct audio feed, and if it's in the distant in the background, you can get away with some of it. Not all of it, but you could get away with some of it.
I did an indie show with Shane not long ago, and I recorded it for YouTube, and I got flagged for the Perfect Strangers.
I can't even have it in the background anymore.
I couldn't have it on YouTube. I didn't get monetized. They demonetized that video, and I was just like, great, now I can't even put an entrance on YouTube. It's ridiculous.
Are you really kidding me?
No, that's what it was, because I saw that there's a little $sign, and it had a slash through it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the video, and I said, the only thing I can think of is Shane's music, and I think it may have been Stevie or somebody. I don't know whose music. And I said, damn, they flagged me for that Perfect Strangers.
But who's doing, who's watching all these videos?
It's something in literal, and this is all above our heads, something in the interface that can read the music. Because I had it happen to me too. I posted a full episode of Triple Threat on YouTube, and I literally have a karaoke version of Perfect Strangers that got flagged. And I was like,
God.
How did I even know what song it was? It's an instrumental karaoke version. Come on.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. But if you watch WWE now on the network, and they just put elevator music over all of our entrances,
and it's horrible. It kills the whole experience.
It does.
It kills
it really does. Oh, sick. But I love the fact that there's a whole new generation getting into our stuff. Yeah.
I was talking about this with somebody the other day. I don't remember who it was. Who was I with? Yeah. Oh, Tatanka. Did an appearance with him, and I thought you were with him too.
I was just with him
the same weekend, I believe. It was the last weekend. I was with him the last day on Sunday, and I think they're going to put ECW into the Hall of Fame, but as a faction.
Why not?
You know what I mean? I think it will, because A, you're going to run out of players, and B, we really were owned by WWE, so they could, that'll be a promotional thing, and you can just have Heyman go out there and bring out 2 or 3 of the ECW. Believe me, they're gonna have all of us out there getting rings.
No,
but we should. But nonetheless, I think that'll be cool. Nobody told me it's gonna happen, but I think one of these days, sooner than later, I think that's bound to happen.
Interesting.
They will quietly do something like that. Like there's a thing they do for the old timers, like the 60s, 70s guys, and even the 50s and 60s guys, that they just out of nowhere. It's called the Legacy Wing. They just brought it out of nowhere, and they just pull guys out of left field, and they just say, "Oh, well, you're in the Hall of Fame now."
It doesn't mean nothing to me because it's fake. You know what I mean? It's not a real Hall of Fame. What I would personally like is one of those Legends contracts.
Oh yeah, right.
Because I just want an Aldo doll. It's the only thing I want, because it was like some guy made this amazing, like super detailed. It looks like it would have been a Mattel right out of the package, and I was like, wow, And then I tweeted the picture, and I was like, let's start a little campaign. Because from what Zack Ryder was telling me, like if you get to the right people at Mattel, they will pitch, WWE on it, because a lot of times they're looking for rare figures. They're looking for how many Roman Reigns are you going to sell? Like a Francine Shane Douglas set would sell, or Justin Credible. You know what I mean? Like a vintage or feud thing would sell. I think they own the property already. So I don't see why they don't do that, because after a while you made the free birds. It's like, really?
Wow.
Anyway,
if they made a Shane figure, I would drop dead.
I just want some of that fucking Mattel money.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think if they do include us in the Hall of Fame, I think it would be on Facebook Live and not even on the main show. I just don't think they care enough about ECW to showcase us. That's just my opinion. But
you never know. You
do never. Yeah, I know.
Never know, because they're as long as Heyman's there, you never know.
Yeah, it's true. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Aldo Montoya, and I know on your Twitter, you can you're cutting some messages as Aldo, or you will appear as him. So are you just yes? So are you getting a lot of requests?
I have done well. I can't say too much, but I have not gotten any bookings yet from promoters other than appearances for Aldo.
Right. Okay.
So
all right. So you're not you're not working as him in the ring yet?
Nobody's asked.
Nobody's asked, but it's out there.
I just thought it would have been fun, because why not? Like why not? So just another opportunity kind of to get a booking, but nobody's asked for it. I mean, I have done a couple with the mask at autographs, and believe me, the mask that I've got made, and I got all new gear made, is actually way better than the crap they made me. So
nice. So it's out there if you want to book them.
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay, if they want to book you as Aldo, or if they want to book you as Justin Credible, you'll do double duty if you have to.
I'll do whatever
2 paydays.
I'll do whatever they want.
Oh, awesome!
I'm definitely a whore.
I love it. I'm happy for you with your new gig with Vince.
Thank you so much.
And for anything coming up that you can't talk about, that's a positive thing. We're excited for you.
No, I mean, I'm excited. I will. It'll be happening soon.
Yes.
In the next month. I want to say it so bad.
That's okay. You don't have to. But breaking news: something's going to be happening for PJ, and we'll keep an eye.
Good Lord.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on your Twitter.
I got a new job at Chili's starting in December, so
ain't no shame in that. No shame whatsoever.
No shame.
Okay, so where can we find you on social media? Plug whatever you want right now.
My pro wrestling tees, prowrestlingtees.com/Justin Credible. I've got 4 new shirts out right now. And Twitter at PJ Polacco and Instagram at PJ Polacco. And I have a Facebook page, but I barely go there. But if you are interested in booking me, you can message me there because I do check my messages. So and that's about it.
With Vince Russo?
Yeah, Vince Russo with Patreon. It's patreon.com/Russo TWC, which is Truth with Consequences. And he's got all kinds of pay windows. Like, if you want to listen to our show, for example, specifically, it's $3 a month, So he's got all kinds of packages. And he's got good stuff there, too. He just doesn't talk about wrestling as like album reviews and he's all over the place with everything. So he's got a lot of content.
Fun.
So it's worth your time.
Awesome. Well, proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I'm glad.
I'm happy everything's going good with you and I.
Yes,
makes
absolutely.
me very happy. I was talking
to
my wife about that, and we'll talk about that someday. But I don't even remember what it was.
It's over.
I was just so happy.
It's over.
No, I was just saying. I was so happy.
Now everybody's going to be like, "What are they talking about?" Well, you don't need to know.
You don't need to know. It made me seriously deep inside. It made me like really happy. It really did.
Well, I'm glad, and I do love you, and I hope everything works out for you. I love Jill. I hope everything's going well with her.
Everything's getting better.
Good. Send her my love, and I'll see you somewhere, I'm sure.
We'll see each other very soon, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and I really apologize. Because like I'm running like rampant.
No, you're fine. No one knows you were late.
Nobody knows you were late. I mean, come on.
That's cool. Okay.
Cool.
He's apologizing for being such an awesome guest. Thanks, PJ.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys.
Bye, buddy.
See you down the road. Have a great one.
You
Later,
too.
PJ.
Take care.